Hello my fine gardening friends, how the devil are you? Welcome to late September, autumn in the optimistic garden. Things are still going on, but obviously we're on the downward curve now for growing, especially here in Nova Scotia. Temperatures are down around between sort of 16 and 20 degrees. Still nice sunny days, but the sun is a lot lower obviously, and we've got a lot less in the day, so things definitely calming down, but lots to do in autumn. Still got things growing, like I said. As you can see behind me there, I've got tomatoes still ripening, and this is the sort of time now, very dodgy here in Nova Scotia. We could get a frost at any moment, so I'm eking out the last sort of growing conditions, trying to sort of ripen these tomatoes that I've got, and lots of other things still growing. So why don't we have a look around and see the jobs that need to be doing, like, you know, lots of tidying up, lots of things to think about with the compost heap, and we've got leaves starting to drop. So let's have a little look around the bazaars to see what jobs we can be doing in autumn, around to see the jobs that we could be doing to prolong the season and to get ready for next growing seasons. So as I said, we've still got these, and as you can see we've still got these tomatoes here, all ripening up. Now I could be picking some of these, but I'll leave these till later. What I wanted to say was, could get frost at any time now, and obviously a lot less sun, so any of these like small tomatoes that are growing here now, they're not going to have time to grow and ripen, so really and truly might as well cut them off and get the plant the chance to actually sort of put all its effort into growing the ones that I think are still going to last. Flowers, anything with flowers on, no point sort of having them now. It's a shame really, isn't it? Look, 3 lovely tomatoes, but I don't think they're really going to get a chance. So all around you tomato plants, as you can see behind me there, there's lots and lots of small tomatoes, and I want to get the chance to give them as much light as possible, so cut away any excess. Is that one going to grow? I might give that a chance. Any excess leaves that are covering up tomatoes, your fruit, etc., cut them away. And any of these small tomatoes, even here, not worth having that one. Give your plant every chance to sort of grow and put the effort into these last tomatoes. But I've had a good tomato season this year, so you know, that's always good. And I want to give these every chance they got now to ripen. So that's an important job. Cut back all of these. So cut back all your tomatoes that are not going to ripen. Got to be really ruthless here, and you'll still get some nice tomatoes growing in the next few weeks. So I've still got some courgettes growing here as well. As you can see, 1, 2, I've got about 3 growing here, and depending on whether it's you know, it's raining or not, make sure they've still got, you know, plenty of water, because they like plenty of water to get themselves going. But again, cutting away any old leaves around them so that they can sort of, the sun can get on them and get them ripened up is good. So again, eking out the very last fruits. And zucchini grow quite quickly, don't they? Courgettes grow quite quickly, so you know, any small ones you don't have to worry about chopping them off just yet. Give them the chance to sort of to grow, and we'll get some last beautiful juicy courgettes out of 1, 2, 3, 4 out of you know, out of the plant. Still got some flowers growing here, so maybe I'll get some more around there. So again, get the light to the courgettes and give them every chance for these last bits of fruit over the last couple of weeks. So I'll probably say this every year, but autumn fruiting raspberries are the sort of one of the last great delights of my garden. Between now and sort of, you know, late September and really when the first sort of frosts, maybe sort of October time, definitely over the next month if I'm lucky, I get stacks and stacks, as you can see here and all over, stacks and stacks of beautiful raspberries. You know, the last really fruit to come, you know, other than apples and things like that, but absolutely delicious, really easy to grow. So I want to be picking these every day now, and my boy likes them a lot, so that's always good. But you know, they grow on this season's growth, so every autumn, you know, after they finish fruiting, I will cut them right down hard, and then they'll grow up next year and the fruit will come, you know, which is a lot easier than your summer fruiting ones where, you know, they grow on last year's growth, the same as sort of blackberries and things like that. There's always a chance here in Nova Scotia that they get blighted by frost, but I can put some protection over them sometimes. But again, make sure you're picking all your raspberries to get the most out of, you know, all that growth and the effort that you put into growing them. So autumn fruiting raspberries, picking them daily now is a great job to be doing here in autumn. So autumn is the time that we plant garlic. Normally I'll plant them around sort of mid-October towards November, any time before the you know, the frosts start to harden up the ground, you can put them in. And as you can see here, I have this is Music. These are all the biggest bulbs from my garlic harvest this year. So I've kept all the biggest ones. So obviously, you know, that bit of sort of breeding where you're keeping the best ones, and then next year they'll hopefully grow nice and bigger crops all the time. So I've got a big load of them. So we need to make sure we've got a bed prepped. So this bed had onions in this year. So I've obviously harvested the onions. I have got rid of all the weeds, etc. And now I've given it a good layer of new compost, freshen the bed up, ready for next month when I plant the garlic. So getting your, you know, your beds, freshening up your beds, all the growth that you've had, it could be lettuce, could be whatever it is, making sure, even if you're not growing anything in them, so, you know, get all the work done now so that next spring you're not worrying about tidying all your beds up, etc. before having to plant. You've got beds all ready, and all they'll probably need is a quick hoeing over to get rid of any weeds that have grown over the winter. So a good refresh of your bed, ready for garlic planting. So we're coming to the end of the season. We've got all of this green growth still that we're all going to cut back from all of our sort of courgettes and our pumpkins and stuff like that. We want to make good use of it now. Now this is obviously green at the moment, so we want to get it all chopped up and get it in the compost heap. Now I'm lucky enough to have the shredder there, and I can chop it up really small because we want it as small as possible, because obviously the more surface area there is for all the you know, organisms and little mites to sort of eat up all of the compost, the better. But you know, even if you just chop it up small, my shredder, as you can see, chops it up nice and small like that. But even just chopping it up with a pair of secateurs is good. And then, you know, next spring we'll have a nice beautiful compost to lay out on the beds. Now I've got all this compost now, so I'm going to use it like I said earlier with the garlic. I've put a nice couple of inches of new compost on there, and this lot that I've got in this wheelbarrow is going to go in the greenhouse, and a couple more to sort of renew all the soil in there, because they've had tomatoes taking all of the goodness out. So you want to renew it every year, and compost, it's free. So if you've got room, I definitely recommend at least even having one bay. I've got 3 here, so I put the new stuff in one, then I'll turn it over into the next bed, and then I'll turn it over into the next bed, and renewing as I go along. But even if you just got one, fill it up, Make sure it's a bit damp every now and then, and in the springtime you'll have some lovely compost. Give it a turn every now and then so that all the stuff on the top, you know, gets in there and gets mixed in, and all the organisms got a chance to eat it all up and make it into beautiful, lovely compost that will, you know, fire your plants next year. So there we go. Get all of your stuff, you know, don't wait until it turns brown. You know, you want to mix, it's not, you know, 50-50 mix of green stuff and brown stuff really. So with my flowers, etc., you know, I sort of leave half of it, I cut back as much as I want, and then I leave a good amount to turn sort of brown, and then I've got that carbon mix as well as the sort of nitrogen rich green stuff, and then that will fire the compost nicely. But yeah, just get cutting back and sticking it in the compost heap if you can. So next, actually, not composting itself, but leaf mold. So all of the trees obviously are going to start dumping their leaves soon. Now they sort of, if you have what's called leaf mold, that works slightly differently than the compost heap. I keep all my leaves sort of separate if possible, in another heap. Lucky enough, like I said, to have the room to do it. Actually, look at that beautiful sky against and the leaves are starting to sort of turn orange now, ready to start falling, and they're falling in different places. But anyway, leaf mold. Let's have a look at what I do with my leaf mold. So, leaf mold. I know I'm probably always going on about leaf mold, but I think it's one of the you know, the greatest free resources that we actually have in the garden, and especially, you know, a big garden surrounded by trees like mine is. It's a fantastic resource to have to you know, improve the soil in your garden. Now what I do, you know, every autumn all the leaves will drop, and then I'm lucky enough to have a sort of a big space here with chicken wire all around it, and I just dump all the leaves. And you know, at the start of last year the leaves are sort of up here, and now they're obviously down here. They've all sort of rotted down, and there's two ways I use leaf mold. So I can, once it's all rotted down, you know, underneath we have a sort of rough leaf mold. You know, it's probably got some sticks and stuff in it and not completely broken down, and I can use that as a mulch on my I'll normally not use that on my flower beds. But also what you can do is again, when it's all rotted down, garden sieve, get the leaf mold in there and sieve it, and then you have this absolutely beautiful crumbly moist mixture of leaf mold, and I use it as a seed compost to germinate my seeds. The first thing, it doesn't have a lot of nutrients in it, which is good, because the first thing, you know, when a seed germinates, it's got all of its nutrients it needs in its seed pod. So to get itself going, all it needs is a substance to be in and to be sort of moist. So leaf mold is perfect for that. And then, you know, once it gets its true leaves in that, you, as you normally do, you take it out and put it into some other compost. But leaf mold as a seed compost, absolutely fantastic. So what I do is I sieve a load, you know, enough for 3 or 4 bags worth of compost, put it away for the rest of the winter, and then get it out in springtime when I'm about to start sowing seeds again. So autumn is a fantastic time to you know, one, do all your get all your old leaf mold out, whether you're going to use it, you know, on your flower beds or just as a mulch on your ordinary veg beds, etc., or you're going to sieve it. Get that done, and then get the bed ready, you know, empty, ready for this year's leaves to dump in here, and just leave them. You just leave them alone. And even if you don't have a great big area like this, just a couple of black bags, stick them behind the garden shed, fill them up with the leaves, put a couple of holes in them. Jobs are good. Wait till next year, and then you'll have a few bags of leaf mold. So there we go. compost and leaf mould, two great resources, free resources really, that you can use in the garden at this time of year. So there we go, a few little jobs to be doing in autumn. Make the most of what you got still growing. You know, get your tomatoes, if you've still got tomatoes, cut all the young ones off. Really look after the older ones to make sure that they're good to go. Get your compost bin filled up, all the old clippings, etc. That's great. Leaf mould, use the old stuff, get the new stuff in with the leaves, and just generally get things ready for next year and when the cycle begins again. And I'm making the most of this year's beautiful crops. Some lovely carrots here, and some lovely beetroot. Obviously, as the temperature cools down, it's a really good time, especially for an Englishman or a British person who loves his Sunday roast. A nice bit of roasted carrots with garlic and orange, with a bit of thyme in there as well. Absolutely beautiful. And roasted beetroot, Mrs F loves them with our Sunday roast, so job's definitely a good one still. Be lucky.